Hello, dear viewer, and welcome back to Dark Deity on Steam with me, John. Today, we finished taking the bridge, as Sarah so rightly points out here. Let's get to it. My father spoke often of holding this bridge. I never thought I'd actually see it done. Certainly not like this.
Who'da thunk?
We've basically just split Varric's empire in two. He'll have a hard time coming back from this one. I wouldn't be so sure. There are many powerful lords who still stand between us and the king. A mad rush to Varric would only splinter Delia, not free it. There are nobles in the east who would rather die than loosen their grips on their subjects. And in the west as well, surely.
Done it.
My friends, we've accomplished a great feat today. Tomorrow's worries can wait. We'll leave enough troops to keep the bridge and return to the Marrowhole. You've all earned yourselves a good night's rest. You're right. We should make the most of that while we can. All right. Chapter 23. Sins of the Father. What did Irving's dad do? We don't know if Alistair did anything. Irving, may I have a word? Of course. Is something wrong? It's Elias. I've never seen him like this. He's sweating profusely, and he's been like this all evening. Do you think it's the staff? Seems more than likely. You should check up on him. Elias? Yeah, blast Irving. I'm sorry. You just startled me is all. Next time I'd appreciate a warning. Forgive me, but I must admit, I'm a bit concerned. Is everything alright? Better than alright. I'm closer than I've ever been. The limits, the edges of these astral spaces, many of them aren't limits at all. They're more like walls. Arcane barriers built to thwart a probing mind, which means there could be any number of things on the other side. All that's left to do is break through. I can feel them bending under my will. I just need to concentrate. Are you sure these barriers are breakable? I know you've searched diligently. We should consider the possibility that Akmenos isn't present in the staff at all.
Ridiculous.
He is. I'm sure of it. I just need more time.
Pace yourself.
I see. Pace yourself, my friend. I can't have you overextended. We need you sharp on the battlefield. I know. I'm sorry I don't have more for you right now, but Corvin's recent discoveries are promising. Is that so? Perhaps, though not as promising as I might have hoped. A staff forged before the calamity is bound to be steeped in more history than you can fathom. The arcane weapon has gone by many names. Merrimack, the Dungeons of Eel, the Binding Branch, the Black Rose of Corella. We've traced the staff to various historical accounts and legends over the centuries.
That's it.
Good. That should shed some light on the nature of this necromancer who wielded it. I thought so too. About 300 years ago, the trail simply runs cold. I can't find any known reference to the staff between then and when we first laid eyes on it in Dragonwell. That is troubling. Don't give up the search. I'm sure something will turn up. That may be, but I'm not convinced the Order of Eternals, or the Mystic Council, for that matter, is sharing everything they know. With your permission, I'd like to present my findings to them. Perhaps then they will see fit to disclose more relevant lore, however guarded it may be. If it's my blessing you want, you've had it all along. I don't know where we'd be without your scholarship.
I'm sure of it.
Your vote of confidence is much appreciated. In time, I will do it justice. You already have. Sloane, I'm surprised to find you wandering about so late. These caverns are safer than they once were, thanks to us.
Yes.
That they are. Well, good night. Actually, Irving, I was hoping I might catch you. It's about my father. Of course, I want to assure you I'm doing everything in my power to avoid a conflict. If we can topple Varric without coming to blows with the Val'Myrens, we will. But that's just it. You can't.
What?
What do you mean? Irving, my father is not the kind of threat that can be ignored. Turn your back on him for an instant, and he'll stick a knife in it. If your father's troops had reinforced Canopy Bridge, we would have seen the end of this revolution. We don't have the numbers to go chasing after him, and even if we did, we'd be fighting on enemy territory. Every day we wait, we delay the inevitable. If he amasses enough strength, he'll stop us dead in our tracks on the road to Sojourn. Are you proposing we march everyone right into whatever Henry Val'Myren's prepared for them in the forest?
No.
We remove him quietly. Then I become head of House Val'Myren. Fear is his singular method of governance. His grip on his people is tight, but brittle. If we break it, the people of Canopy will follow me to Sojourn.
Still.
Sloane, He's your father. I know you two had your differences, but isn't this the man who raised you?
That's cute.
Differences? That's the understatement of the century. And no, not in the slightest. I was raised exclusively by tutors and maids. I wouldn't know the first thing about sneaking into the Val'Myren manor. Neither would I. Then why even suggest it? Because I know someone who does, and he's agreed to help us. Are you sure he can be trusted? Perhaps he's more loyal to your father than you expect. I'm insulted at the suggestion. I'm never wrong about people, especially men. This one couldn't think for himself to save his life, especially if the request came from my lips. I see. At any rate, you'll meet him in the morning. I just needed to convince you. There's no way around this. You've made up your mind then? Very much so. Well, I've learned better than to try and change it.
You're not half bad.
And I've taught you well. Anyway, as you were saying, it's late. Good night. Good night, Sloan. I do hope you know what you're getting yourself into. Don't worry, Irving. I've been thinking about this for quite some time. We're ready to make the push for Sojourn. We have everything we need. Nearly everything. We still need a realistic plan to hold the kingdom together once we've ousted Varric. I don't imagine that's at the forefront of Sarah's mind. It's no great boon to Aramor to have its neighbors constantly plagued by rebellion. Of course it's on my mind. I know we have Delian nobility among us. What would they suggest?
Naturally.
It's simple, really. Gather all the heads of Delia's landed families for a meet. Then, have them vote in a new royal family. Was the corruption of the throne not what got us here in the first place? Maybe so, but at the moment, Delia requires stability. It's taken centuries to carve out the territories it encompasses. Leave the nobility out of the important decisions, and it will fracture right back into a million pieces. Monroe happens to be right. Any other form of rule would never be seen as legitimate. And therein lies the power and downfall of the monarchy. The unrelenting need for a ruler with the command to wield control and the strength of will to resist it. In the long history since the Calamity, those who possessed both can be named in a single breath. But how will we win the support of the nobility before the gap we create with Varric's absence? First, we depose my father. That will win us the support of all the houses in Canopy. As head of House Val'Myren, I can legitimize our cause. I thought your father disowned you and stripped you of your titles.
Guess I'll state the obvious.
He's too proud to admit that to his own people. I doubt even Varric knows. And if he does, should all go right, that won't matter. Doesn't sound like that stayed much of a secret. Perhaps not to a rumor monger.
Was that all?
Watch your tongue, witch. Listen, we need to remember who the real enemy is. Yes, Henry Val'Myren. I don't suppose you've already come up with a plan. I have, but not without help. Allow me to introduce Braxton of the Birchwood, the son of a former tutor of mine who serves as my father's personal cartographer. Hello! I must admit, this is more excitement than I've had in months. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. And what use would we have for a cartographer's son?
I assure you.
My own knowledge of geography is quite extensive. I make a valuable diplomatic asset. I can name the capital of every nation on Etlin and Varroa, as well as all the minor outlying kingdoms of the Aelothan. Yes, Braxton, and we take your word for it. To answer your question, Monroe, as paranoid as my father is, he's constantly employing his architects to design new passages and methods of escape. The passages change frequently enough that my father has new maps of them drawn up every year. Maps that Braxton was able to get his hands on for me.
Indeed.
The network is quite extensive, though tree trunks and branches and roots, though I'm not sure it would be quite appropriate to... Braxton, would you please show our friends what you've brought for me?
Of course.
Right away. Well, I must say, this certainly looks promising. If we enter the southeastern tunnel, I should be able to navigate to the manor's atrium with ease, though I do hope you don't intend to seriously harm Lord Val'Myren. Not any more than necessary for him to see reason.
Very good.
He is, after all, a reasonable man. We should instruct our troops to follow about a day behind. Once our task is done, we'll muster what forces we can in Canopy and set out for Sojourn. Lincoln, can you make the preparations?
Indeed.
Of course. All right, everyone else, you should make preparations of your own. We won't be returning here for some time. Ah, this is truly exciting. History in the making. I wonder if I'll have a page or two devoted to myself in the records. Perhaps a footnote is more reasonable. Oh, Monroe. Putting down the man who's helping us right now. Not the best plan. Let's save. Okay, we actually made it to 11k. Thank you, game. So we could get a +1 to one of our level 4 tokens. Interesting, interesting. Okay, time to check our conversations. We probably have quite a... Yeah, okay. This is... Yep. Okay, then. I think doing the episodes where we have the bond conversations and inventory management stuff and then going into the combat has worked pretty well. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But that's kind of how I'm going to keep doing it, I think. It's good to see you again, Maeve. It's been too long.
Actually,
Long for you, Liberty. To me, it feels fresh.
I'll keep that in mind.
Right, I'm growing achy and old, and you're still a spring chicken. I understand that you've spent most of your recent years at Arrogance Peak. Why?
The Eternals.
Official order business. Can't say much more than that. I know the aspects held near there. They would not have sent someone of your rank. Grand Inquisitor back with all the questions, huh? I am simply concerned for you. I remember the most radiant woman I'd ever met. You were a force. Am I not still? You may still be as powerful, but the light inside you has dimmed. Your eyes do not carry the same ferocity they once did. Yeah, well, I grew up, learned control, learned patience. Good things to have, but they don't explain it all away. What happened at Arrogance Peak? Nothing at all, Maeve. I spent a decade brewing beer and mead with village idiots. It was wonderful.
Very well.
I see. You have calmed in that time. That much is understandable. I still don't understand why you chose the post in the first place. Look, you knew me when I was at my most vulnerable. I was uncontrolled. I hurt people. I didn't want to risk continuing on that path. For 10 years? I got to stop in once in a while to see Sterling and Irving. Someone had to. Yes, Alistair was away with his duties. I am aware. How I understand it, you should have been as well.
It's not personal.
Can you just take the hint that I don't want to talk about it? I will. I'm sorry for the trouble. It really is good to see you. Okay. Interesting. Grand Inquisitor, to what do I owe the honor? Hello, Lincoln. I've been poring over our record of events leading up to the war, and I'm left with a few crucial gaps in the story. I thought I might ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. I suppose it comes with the territory. Tell me, did you know Varric before the war?
Indeed.
I did. And how well, exactly? As well as a faithful officer might expect. I see. A rising star in the ranks. I was useful to him, and he had won my admiration.
Very well.
Understandably. What was he like in those days? There were many who sought to test him as Delia's new king. He admonished them all with a firm but even hand. He showed great restraint in those days. You speak of the conflict with Nulay? Not only Nulay. A Vulture's Eyrie, then? I'm surprised to hear you mention it, if you only knew how precariously Delia and Carmot teetered on the edge of war. Perhaps I know more than you think. I'm not sure that's possible. You may speak ill of whispers, Captain, but few slip past the Council's ears unheeded. And you would have done well to pass those along. Many might have died if we failed in Vulture's Eyrie. Many did. Be that as it may, a crisis was averted, and no thanks to any council. What makes you so sure? Varric must have obtained his knowledge from somewhere. Are you suggesting it was the Mystic Council that informed him of the crisis in the first place?
Forgive me.
If I was, I wouldn't be at liberty to answer that question. I'm sure you're well aware of that. Yes, yes. It's all questions, and no answers with you Inquisitors. You'll find life is much the same. I already have.
I've said my part.
Well, I hope I've been of some use to you. More than some, Captain. Thank you.
With honor.
It's my honor. I'm sure it is. Okay. Interesting. Getting some more questionings going on. Aha, Monroe and Ford. Ford, in your mind, what makes a good port city? Coming to the ignorant sailor for advice now, are we? I didn't say I was making an advisor out of you. I am merely asking a question. Well, for starters, it helps if it's on the coast. Illuminating. And then there are the usual things. If it's the closest point of access to the sea for a large area, you're in good hands. That keeps trade goods flowing through from the mainland. It helps too if you've got some nice deep waters right off the coast, sheltered from the winds and waves. Ports without nice harbors are a real pain for sailors. Most try to steer clear if they can. Fascinating. Ancient ice seems to have carved out several such places in Silvergun. Perhaps the construction of Port City would be beneficial after all.
No chance.
Well, that's the other thing to worry about. You've just cut your income in half if your port's frozen over half the year. The ice doesn't creep that far south every year, but now and then it certainly does. Perhaps the dwarves know of some remedy for this. They sure know their way around fire, I'll give them that. And you're not so far from Everhearth, actually, compared to most of Etlin, I mean. Someone's been spending time in the tutelage of Braxton at the Birchwood. I'm a sailor, Monroe. Let's hope I know how to read a map. You never know. You're a man full of surprises. I'll show you surprises. And did I mention a man of idle threats as well? Oh dear. Don't push Monroe. Got it. At liberty, huh? I got a question for you. Guard your steps, Ford. I've never been good at that. I got sea legs, you know. You're biting off more than you can chew this time.
No chance.
I got a nice, well-defined jaw. I can chew a lot. If you found that jaw broken, would it confirm my theory?
Whoa there!
Hey, that wasn't very ladylike. You're getting somewhere with that.
Calm down.
Relax. All I said was I had a question.
The Mystic Council might have an opening if you've taken an interest in Inquisitor's work.
Maybe if I improve my track record of getting my questions answered, I'll submit an application. Will you let me ask now?
At this point, I'd prefer that to dragging this on.
Fine, sheesh. Do you think it would have been safe to sail in the weather we had today?
Why do you even bother?
There's no way in the black abyss that's what you were going to ask me.
It was!
We're done here.
Someone really knows how to kill the mood. Poor Liberty. Poor Ford. But I think Ford often gives that vibe, shall we say, of trying to hit on the ladies too much. Say, seeing as we're about to head off on an extremely dangerous mission and might not come back, why don't we open that bottle?
What happened to true love? It'd be a shame if it came to you and you were short a nice bottle of wine.
I've seen better.
I'll buy another one. I find it hard to believe I'd find my true love headed to my probable death.
I don't know.
You'd be surprised. I saw some unbelievably intimate moments between people who knew I was coming for them in Vorin.
Right? You were an assassin. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's easy to forget.
For you, maybe. All my time in Vorin. I can't say I had a friend I would have wanted to enjoy a nice bottle of wine with before any of my dangerous missions.
I do my best.
A friend, huh? Actually means a lot coming from you. We've had some pretty good times together. Even if you caused me a couple soiled undergarments along the way.
Frequent sailor discount at the laundry, eh? You were never scared for a second.
No chance.
No, I wasn't. Sure was fun to act it out, though. Besides, you never found my real stash.
You're still holding out on me after all this time.
Sure thing.
Ah, Brooke, I'm holding out on everyone. It's just how I operate.
Fine.
Anything really nice I should know about in the stash?
I have an extremely rare bottle of rum. Probably over 30 years old now.
No time like the present, right?
You know the darndest thing? I actually would love to share that bottle with you. Wine can wait for when I find my person for life.
That's the spirit.
Perfecto.
I'll run and go grab it. I'm glad we ended up sharing these days. Hard to find good company among all these do-gooders.
Tell me about it. Crazy how it all pulls you in.
That it is. I'll be back. Don't move a muscle.
I bet she shadows him to the rum stash. Okay, well, Iris, you should have some... Oh, we're fast.
So, Iris, you grew up in New Lane, didn't you? Yes. Is it true that people eat snails there?
Only in the countryside.
Gross, but intriguing.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Why would they do that? Is food that scarce?
No, it's supposed to bring you good fortune.
That explains why the nobles don't do it. They already have good fortune.
I'm not sure.
I guess so.
Have you ever tried it?
I did, once.
Jeez. Ew. Why would you do that?
You know, I thought it would be one of those things where once you get past how gross it is, it actually ends up tasting pretty good.
But it didn't?
I should have known.
Nope. Tasted just as slimy and salty as I expected it to.
Please don't.
Oof. Wish I never heard that. Too late.
You think?
That's for sure.
That's pretty fun. Alright, Vesta.
Hey Vesta, where are you headed? Oh, Iris. I was just stepping away for some quiet prayer. So much is happening these days, you know? It tends to get to my head. I definitely understand that. Well, I don't mean to bother you. Please, don't be silly. Is there something on your mind?
I don't know.
Not really. I was just reflecting a bit on everything that's happened to us and the time we've all spent together. Just because, well, the road ahead is difficult, and tomorrow is never guaranteed, you know? Yes, I know that all too well. You're very wise to appreciate that. Thanks, and yeah, just anyway, looking back at what we've been through, I realized you were there for me right from the start. You reached out when I hardly knew anyone. You encouraged me to be myself. Even in battle, I knew you were never far.
I trust you.
You tried to make me feel welcome, and, well, it worked. I guess I just wanted to say thank you. Of course, Iris. It was clear to me that you belonged with us right away. I only wanted to help you see what I did. In fact, I'm not sure we'd be where we are without you. I know I can say the same for myself. Well, we're here now together, aren't we? And both better for it. That's what counts. I think so. Anyway, I'll let you go pray. Actually, would you care to join me? Oh, it's been a long time since I've done anything like that. Not to worry, I'll lead. Alright, I guess I could use some quiet. Very good, and yes, I think we all can. Come.
Aw. Okay, Myren.
I don't mean to be rude, Iris, but you're looking a little pale. Are you feeling alright? I'm alright, just exhausted, I think. Trouble sleeping?
I can't help it.
Yes, actually, I've been having dreams. More like nightmares, I guess. I see. These dreams, are they about your past? They are. Well, I don't want to pry, but if you feel it would help, I'm here to listen. It's strange. Until now, I've never had someone I could talk to about it. Not since I left home. For the most part, I've tried to avoid remembering what happened altogether. But now I have these dreams. I close my eyes and I see their 6 smiles and sharp blades. And it's not just the criminals. I see my father, too. The shock on his face when he found me. And sometimes I wake up sweating, and my face feels hot, burning, just like it did so long ago. I'm so sorry, Iris. That sounds awful. It is, but maybe this is a good sign. In a way, like I'm finally ready to come to terms with it. Maybe this means I don't have to bury it anymore. I'd never ask a friend to hide who they are, or the things that made them that way. Don't ever feel like you need to do that around me. Thanks, Myren.
Come on.
But as good of a sign as it may be, I'm sure you'd rather come to terms with things yourself in your waking hours. We should do something about these dreams. Can anything be done? I think so. I want you to try something. Here. What's this? Some kind of a medicine? Nectar from a moon bloom. I use it to help me sleep. When you're ready to settle down for the night, mix it into a warm drink. Just a couple drops should do. We'll put a stop to these dreams. It's known to induce pleasant dreams, but I'm not sure that's true in every case. If your nightmares get worse, don't take any more, of course, and let me know.
If you say so.
All right, I'll give it a shot. I really appreciate you trying to help, Myren. I want to, if I can.
I trust you.
I know.
Aw, friendship. Okay, let's have more friendship. Faust. Garrick. Aha. Time for pranks, probably.
Faust, I don't mean any disrespect by it, of course, but what on Terra compelled you to pack yourself into that barrel? Good question.
Right.
So I'd imagine it has an equally good answer? I just like the way it smelled on the inside. Really?
You think?
No, of course not. Are you kidding me? I had somewhere to be.
Somewhere to be?
Yeah.
That's right. And you're still with us instead of wherever you were going, because
Stop.
you're trying to get rid of me, aren't you? No, not before I understand what you're about, at least. That is a fool's errand, my friend.
Hardly.
You really think you've got such an uncrackable shell? Listen, very carefully, buddy, because I'm only going to say this once. Are you listening?
I'm all in.
Yes, Faust. I am an enigma. I have never been truly comprehended and never will be. My mere existence is a paradox. If you knew the true form of the being with whom you converse, you would tremble in despair.
Somehow I doubt that.
Then be grateful I've chosen to be merciful and shield your eyes from my true form.
You're really something.
I think I'm grateful for that all the same.
Definitely.
There we go. That's more like it.
Alright. Monroe.
Monroe Val'Myren. It's been a mortal age. So good to see you, buddy.
What is it with you insufferable people assuming I know you?
Jeez.
Are you serious right now? Monroe, we were best friends.
Absurd.
What are you on about now, barrel boy?
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Big, scary Monroe Val'Myren. I spent plenty of time in your family storerooms. You know that. You like to act like you could buy me a fresh grave, but we both know that isn't as true as everyone thinks it is.
We've never met. Are you delusional?
I wonder if old Khan had you brainwashed into forgetting me. He never approved of our friendship. You needed me, though.
Explain.
What do you know of my father, you rat?
Well, let's have a bit of a look-see. Why don't we... He's a gray man. One of the best I've ever met. You hate him for it.
I hate him because he is weak, maggot.
That's what you tell people, but it's not really the truth, is it? You told me when we were kids how you felt you simply would never add up.
Who are you, really?
We used to run through the back fields together, Monroe. Can't believe you don't remember. We really do have a lot to catch up on. Can you at least give me the chance to help you remember our childhood together?
I suppose I can do that, if my father wiped my memory of it. I'm sure they're memories I would want.
Absolutely hosed.
You crossed the wrong Val'Myren.
You were toying with me? I will have your hide, Faust.
To be fair, my friend Candace did actually know you when you were kids.
Who is this Candace? Everyone messes with Monroe. Too bad he makes it easy. Oh dear. And Faust is definitely the Joker type character. Oh dear.
Hello, Ren. It's good to know these kids have been in the company of at least one trained professional before I got here.
They were in dire need of it.
When I found them, or when you did?
Both.
That's quite possible. Where did you run into them?
In the heart of the towering wheel, they were tangled in a thick sylvan web.
Yes, I heard about this. I imagine you had just the right blade to cut them loose.
Precisely.
Well done. My only regret is that I wasn't there to witness it.
It's a pity you were not. You might have spared yourself a costly voyage.
I'm not sure there's enough ale on that continent to persuade me to get on a ship with that captain of yours.
You're mistaken.
He is not my captain.
He was once you boarded his ship.
Perhaps, but if that became a problem, it could have been easily remedied.
You know how to steer a ship?
No, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't have been an improvement.
You may have a point.
You're making a lot of astute observations today, Rin.
That is an instinct which has saved my life many times.
I'll bet it has.
Oh dear. Liberty really hates Ford, huh? Oh dear. Consider yourself lucky, Garrick. Normally I charge a hefty price for my services.
Right.
And just what services do you think you're providing me?
Serving as your personal bodyguard.
Great.
This is about that killer earlier, isn't it?
Then you remember benefiting from my services.
What I remember is making an effort to let you have that kill.
I don't understand. Why would you do that?
Because I'm not a wet worker collecting ears on a string and charging by the stab wound. I'm just trying to get things done and, you know, let everyone feel like they're part of the team.
You're mistaken.
I don't collect ears on a string, or charge by the stab wound.
You know what I mean.
No, I don't. Are you saying you felt pity for my lack of kills?
Hardly.
That's one way to look at it.
Infuriating.
I don't need your pity.
You're really something.
Hey, I was perfectly happy to live in fairy tale land till you came waltzing over here talking about charging for bodyguard services.
We shall see how you fare without my services.
Sure thing, Ren. I'm gonna have to guess about the same as before.
Perhaps. Oh dear. Oh, Ren.
Something weighs on your mind, Captain?
Troubling.
Yes. The compass. This guide, as it were. There was something sinister about it, as if its mere presence cast a shadow over my soul. Perhaps I'm being over-scrupulous. The Grand Master mentioned it might be untrustworthy. That might have gotten to my head.
Agreed.
No, I felt it too, especially when it claimed to rest, as if it were listening more intensely, probing somehow.
That's affirming, I suppose, but hardly reassuring. We seem to have developed a tendency for entrusting our lives to questionable hands without thinking. I can only hope this won't come back to haunt us in the end. If the Grand Master were with us, I can't imagine he'd have done anything differently. We did find the Trial of the Soul, and complete it, no less. That's true. Still, I can't shake the thought. Did the Order tell you nothing more of it?
I'm afraid not.
No, I'm only a member of the Fourth Circle. Secrets like that don't flow so far from the Fountain. I see. Well, perhaps Irving heard more from his father.
The Order.
That seems even less likely. When I joined the Order, I was required to conceal my involvement even from my own parents. I'm sorry. That sounds like a difficult burden. It was. It still is. But it was one I took up willingly. I'm sure you're no stranger to that.
No.
Not at all. A soldier's life is much the same. I can imagine. Well, I suppose there's no reason to fear. If you trust Alistair, I trust you. Good. That trust will serve us well on the field of battle.
Indeed.
I'd say it already has. Okay, so that was a little bit back in time, maybe. I guess I haven't had them on the same battlefield in a while. Brooke and Lincoln. Brooke, I thought of you this morning. I'm honored, Captain. Irving and I were discussing the state of Delia, how we might ensure peace if we succeed in opposing Varric.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what that has to do with me. With Varric gone, all manner of folk with ambitions of power will try to fill the gap. We'll need subtle eyes on the ground to detect and foil any sinister plots.
Whatever you say.
Whatever it takes to keep me from taking to my old ways, right, Captain? Brooke, look honestly in your heart. There had to have been some reason you decided to leave Vorin for good. There was. I lost my employer. I had more gold than I knew how to spend, and I was looking for a change of pace. No other reason? If you want me to tell you I had some kind of spiritual awakening, prepare to be disappointed. You never once contemplated the ethics of your work? Or stopped to consider what your parents might think of the life you've chosen?
No.
Not even for a moment.
Troubling.
I don't believe that.
Blast.
I'm an orphan, Lincoln. I never knew my parents at all. I'm sorry, Brooke. That's all right. I don't speak of it too often. You couldn't have known.
No.
But I should have, really. Lincoln, don't blame yourself. I don't need that.
I've said my part.
Look, I know you've got it in your head that I'm trying to change you, or make your choices for you. I'm not. I'm only trying to show you that you have another choice. One you've already begun to make. What I'm trying and failing to say, Brooke, is that you have a home here, with all of us, should you want it, and should you choose it. Our mission does not end even if we should liberate all of Delia. If anything, that will be simply the beginning of the long and difficult work of peace, and we could use your assistance then, as well as ever. I know, and as much as I've tried to tell you I don't need that, or any kind of special treatment, it's clear to me you mean well by it. I appreciate the sentiment. The door remains open, Brooke. All I ask is that you think about it. Fair enough. I can commit to that. Yeah, okay. Brooke and Monroe. You haven't antagonized me about our past since we spoke last. I appreciate that more than you know, because everybody else does. What would I gain from that? You're one of the only remaining people alive today that knew me as a child. I don't expect you would want to have many of those around.
You can't be serious.
You presume to know me because you knew me. Don't. That isn't what I meant. You're hardly open, Brooke. That isn't a secret. And how do you think that came about? A despicable childhood. I looked into it with what resources I have while on the move. I'm sorry that I doubted you. I love a man who will point out my flaws in such glaring fashion.
Pointless.
And I love a woman who will act in anger to one she knows has only good intentions. What's your point? You're more fiery than I remember. What happened to the sweet, innocent Val'Myren? The harsh light of reality. I think you've been acquainted, yes? It was a serious question, Monroe. I liked that kid. Well, it was more than half our lives in the past. Things change. Things change doesn't answer my question. Neither does ambiguity. Tell me.
Silver Garden will thrive when I take charge.
There's been a lot of pressure on me for a long time. Pressure that the others can't understand. You all may give me a hard time for being harsh. It's what I know. One day, I'll be responsible for thousands. I need to be ready.
I don't know.
Sarah and Samara hold the same responsibilities and more. Yet they always treat our companions with respect.
Naturally.
I'm not Sarah and Samara. No, I don't suppose so. Would you want to be? That isn't fair of you to ask. I think it's completely reasonable.
Absurd.
You're asking me to betray my pride, Brooke.
Whatever you say.
Better to betray your pride than other things. I've done things to survive that would shatter your pride for eternity. I don't regret a single one. I would do anything to be as prepared to rule as Sarah is. If I hear you repeat that to someone... You'll what?
Fine.
I won't be telling anyone. On the condition that you work on it.
Was that all?
I suppose I'm now taking life advice from someone that kills for a living. One day, you'll see that someone's occupation doesn't define their worth, Monroe. Ooh, good comeback. Okay. Liberty. With a mutual conversation. Hadn't quite expected to find Eramoran royalty wrapped up in all of this. Actually, it was Samara and I who recruited Irving and his friends to help us in the first place.
This.
So I have you to blame for the mess they've gotten themselves into. Frankly, yes. Liberty, I just want you to know, I always did my best to look after them. I never wanted to put anyone in harm's way. I only wanted... Sarah, relax. I'm just giving you a hard time. Oh. Though I'm sure all of that's true. Does Darius know about the aspects? There's no telling what he knows, but whatever he's heard, it didn't come from me.
The Eternals.
Superb. For the time being, the less who know, the better. We may want to change that policy down the road, but that should be something we decide together with the help of the Order. Do you trust them? The Order, I mean. I expect you're a bit biased, but still.
Easily done.
Yes, with my life. In fact, I've done just that on several occasions, and as you can see, I'm still here. You are, but isn't their inaction part of the reason we got here in the first place? I'll admit, in recent times, our mechanisms have been slower to react. But what you don't see are all the catastrophes we've avoided.
Of course.
I imagine that's the idea? You got that right. Okay, interesting. And that's pretty much it. Okay. Let us go check on the shop, shall Okay, so we have things we could do. Have some more weapon tokens. Let's check out our units real fast, because yeah, we're not taking all these people. Okay. So most likely, I would want mostly some tier 3 tokens to get some stuff to tier 4. Maybe a couple tier 2s, a couple tier 1s. And I think we're fine on healing and stuff. So the real question is, for Irving, do we have anything in the convoy and stuff that we want to give people that will help them do more? Plus, we could give somebody else Elandra's Fount for more power. Benji doesn't need more power, but that would be hilarious to see. Interesting. Oh well. For now, let's go to upgrades. We could upgrade the Felling Axe. It gains 2 damage with Mastery and everything. That should be more. The weight won't change. Same thing with Oridas. That does make him more evasive as well, which is probably good since his defense isn't the best. We do want Maeve to get upgraded. There we go. Broadsword. Ford. Iris. Could upgrade the Fire Whip. Thwip, Fire Whip. Though honestly, not upgrading some of this stuff seems fine. It actually makes her more evasive to have the Fire Rune still at 1 weight. So maybe we don't upgrade that further. Too much. Warpick, Ren with the Sanitha. We could upgrade Vesta. She seems pretty decent now. Word means she can attack more often. Her speed isn't super great, but it should be higher now. We've already got great stuff on Caius. I'm not worried about him. Rook, Liberty neutral. Yes, I think we will upgrade the Arcane Lance at least once. Can't afford another one. Okay. Energized Boltman. You are one of our tanks. So is Fenton. And you both need more of this stuff. So I do need more tier 2 tokens in the future. Man, Garrick. Why is your accuracy with a Dwarven Recurve better than the Dwarven Longbow? That
Doesn't make sense. So I think the tier of weapon might have more to do with things than we expect. What? This irks me. Oh, and I also need to upgrade Corbin. I'm sorry, Corbin. For some reason I thought we had done better by you. Oof. It hurts my soul. Alright, well. Yeah, we need more tier 2 tokens than I thought. Benji. Yeah, I wanted to upgrade your accuracy too, Benji. Okay, well. Mistakes may have been made. That's okay. We will live. Wild Blitz, man. I do kind of want to get you to the next level. Worm Rage! That just sounds fun. So it should be, what? Lightning Dragons now? Right? Right? Am I right? I hope I'm right. Ember Bite. We could upgrade that. Molten Globe. We could make you better. Can make Combustion better. That is a magic attack, but their strength gets added to their magic. Not a bad plan. Okay. So yeah, I think I will upgrade Combustion. That's more fire magic. Fire magic is usually not the best typing. We'll get a Flash Lotus on her. Okay, and then we can upgrade somebody's tier 1 thing. Lightning Strike is pretty powerful. Benji, you're already good. Could upgrade Corvin's accuracy thing. That might be good. Or his evasiveness. That's also fine. Oh, he's already evasive with the Shiv, so no, I'm good there. Monroe. We could... Since he is so tanky. His accuracy, though, goes down a lot. And he's not very accurate, personally speaking. So... I think we actually go with Transfusion. This does make it heftier, though. So we'll have to see. Drain. Ooh, invoke the power of Vosh to rip blood from your foes. That sounds rather morbid, but very effective. Alright then, viewer. We'll call that an episode. Leave a like if you've enjoyed Dark Deity. Subscribe for more gaming videos. Comment below on what you think we should expect from the next episode. Have a great day, dear viewer.